So they're good for explaining the overall system structure without any technical detail. They're just rectangles for components, arrows, lines for signal or the energy flow. Your single line diagrams, they're good for power distribution systems. So they use a single line for multiple conductors. So you'll have one line instead of 5 for a 3-phase neutral and earth cable. Again, very low detail. So they're good for planning or analyzing power systems in your switchboards and for substations, or if you've got a subdivision. They use pretty standard symbols, and it simplifies multi-phase systems into a single line. Your circuit diagram, they're the actual electrical components and how they're electrically connected. So they've got a medium level of detail. So that's good for the design, construction, analysis of electrical circuits. So that's your motor starting circuits, your like your water heater circuits. Again, generally only kind of one line between components rather than multiple. They're good for accurate electrical connections, and they've got symbols for each of the components. So your wiring diagrams, so these is the physical layout and wiring between the components. So they're installation and good for installation troubleshooting, and they're realistic or semi-realistic layout. Wire paths can be shown clearly, but sometimes it's just this line is connected to this circuit and this circuit and this circuit and that kind of thing. So it doesn't always give you an accurate layout. Cool. So your location diagram is what shows the position of electrical components in a building. They can be very medium to high level of detail depending on your project. Like for a residential job, you may only have like basic sketch, whereas your kind of high-end commercial or industrial jobs, you'll have quite a detailed location diagram with elevation plans that show height and location off of known common landmarks like corner posts and corner walls. Good for planning and verifying install locations, and they include a building layout and where everything is in physical positions. Cool. So what we are going to do a bit tonight is I am going to give you guys a PDF file. Sound's probably dropping out because I keep turning to look at the screen that I'm projecting the computer to. That might help. So, damn it. Right. Okay. Doesn't seem to like me dropping. So before I had class, I decided to try and test if I could drop files into the chat with one of my colleagues, and it worked. But for some reason now that I'm on the chat with you guys, it doesn't like it. So I will upload the files to a Google Drive, and then I'll just share the Google Drive folder with you guys. Give me 1 second. So here is a link to a Google Drive folder. So inside that Google Drive folder is a copy of the plan that you guys can see on the screen. And then the other one is a layout, or basically a schedule for where they want things installed. So what we're going to do is you guys have, so what's the time now? Until 6:05 to in MS Paint, or if any of you guys have heard of Excalidraw. I will type that into the chat because it's not always. Yeah, Excalidraw. It's a very good drawing program. Is that no, you've not heard of it, or you can't see the Google Drive? That's all good. I put a link to the website, and Andy, I don't know if you can see the Google Drive link in the chat, but I just reposted it. So yeah, we'll give it 20 minutes. I want you guys to have a go at drawing the plan, and then we will either, if anyone's willing to share after we're done, we'll have a look at some of them, and then after that, I will have a go at doing it on this screen for you guys. Yeah, that's part of the diagram list, and then there is a little bit more to do. So we will, yeah, like I said, give it 20 minutes, and then we will get back together. So all good if you minimize the chat. I will quickly go and get some other stuff ready. Yeah. So I'm just going to grab my other laptop and I'm going to do this exercise along with you guys. So yeah, we'll check back in 20 minutes. Okay, if it, if it won't do it, then just use uh, MS Paint. It's probably going to be the easiest one. Uh, yeah, if you can try and draw it, just do a rough drawing. Um, if it won't open up in MS Paint, then yeah, just have a go at drawing it out. It is a basic drawing. You don't have to go into too much detail. We're just trying to have a go at it. You will be required more than likely in this year to do some location drawing as part of your online assessments. So it's just good to get in some practice, and then I will show you guys how I go through and do it. Yeah, they really should have given it to you guys as an image. Um, just do the best you can. Um, you may have to just have a draw, then take a photo, and then add it to the chat. That's good. Yep. Sorry, can you see the Google Drive link? Oh, just open that, do the diagram. There is a schedule in there with things that need to be in the diagram. You not download the file from the Google Drive. I hope everyone can still see the screen. Yeah, no, I was moving around, and then yeah. Okay. So bear with me. I'm just going to be moving around a little bit so you can still kind of see me and kind of still see the screen. Cool. So I guess I should first, anyone brave enough to post theirs into the chat, or I guess it may or may not come up. Good. It's quite a bit to get through. Just going to mute myself while I move this table. Going to be a very rough drawing from me. Hopefully I can talk loud enough you can still hear me. Right. Let's start with a switchboard. Cool. So best thing to do, I know it looks overly large, but put your main switchboard, your combo board in the back corner, because realistically from this is the side entrance, and yeah, this is going to be your side entrance, and this is probably going to be where your garage door is. It depends on the house. Cool. So 2 double outlets spaced around the room. Cool. So I'm going to use red for power. So I'm probably going to stick one, if that's the garage door, I'm probably going to stick one here, and then I'm going to denote that it's double, and then probably one over on this wall over here, and again denote that it's a double. Cool. So single outlet spaced, so single outlet for garage door. Okay. So probably going to put it here and then put in ceiling next to it. Again, very rough. Cool. So 2 LED batten fitting spaced evenly across long length. Cool. So the best width is probably going to be to go this way. Here, nice even lighting. You got light near the switchboard and light near this little workbench. Cool. And then I want to ask for 1 exterior recessed downlight, soffit mounted, above rear exit door. So just take downlight, put it in here. Then we're going to put a light switch here, and we're going to draw a line to our downlight, and then a line to and between our lights. And that's the garage. Cool. So our laundry, it wants 1 double above bench top, 1100. So we're going to stay away from the sink as much as we can. And then I'm guessing that's the washing machine there. So I want it on the left side of the basin, 1100 above floor. Cool. So we're going to put 1 double here. And I'm just going to note 1100 AFFL. Yes, I know that's very bad. Then it's going to be one single outlet under bench for washing machine. So we're going to mount that here. We're probably going to put that at 300. Then 2 recessed downlights above laundry counter, switch from their door into the room. Cool. Cool. So recessed downlight. Normally you would have 2 separate plans, one for lighting. It's going to turn this into a 3-way switch. So yeah, again, normally you would separate out power and light plans just to make it easier. Okay, now move on to the living room. So here we are in the living room. So it wants 2 double outlet for entertainment unit, adjacent bedroom wall. So it's got 2 double outlets, cool. So we'll switch back to our red. For the entertainment, we're probably going to stick it right next to the wall. Bit of a lag here. There we go. Cool, it's double outlet space. 2 double outlets spaced around the room, internet data unit placed within entertainment unit. So 2 double outlets spaced around the room. So we're probably going to want to put one here. Pretty crap. Again, this is pretty rough. I would normally use something like ScalaDraw or other programs to make it a lot nicer. Cool, so internet and data placed within the entertainment unit. So just gonna denote that with a triangle. What we can even do is grab green, and I'm going to use that for my data. Cool, and then we move on to lighting. So they want 4 recessed downlights spaced evenly, switch from front door, garage access door, and hallway. Cool, so our front door is over here, so we know we're going to want a light switch here. It says we want to be able to switch it from the garage access door, so we'll put another light switch over here. And then from the hallway. So if we go up a little bit, this is our hallway. So we're probably going to stick the light switch here. Cool, so we'll go with the 4 recessed downlights. So obviously if I was using a better program, I could measure, but you want them spaced out evenly like this. Cool. And then so we've got to pick what's going to be our intermediate switch. So thinking about where our switchboard is, we're probably going to have the feed here. So this is going to be a 2-way switch. Then the next closest switch is here. And this is what an intermediate switch looks like. Kind of looks like some kind of spider crab thing. And then we're going to have another 2-way switch over here. So then we're going to draw our lines to our lights, like so. We can just draw a line like this. And now we know these lights are all connected together, but they're also connected to this switch by the garage, this switch by the front door, and this switch by the hallway. Cool. 2 exterior light soffit mounted above front entry, and so we'll go 2 above the front entry. So if we move, drawing, okay, it's not quite big enough. Can I make it bigger? Oh. There we go. Add a bit more detail here, a bit more detail here. So 2 exterior light soffit mounted above front entry. So we'll probably put them either side of the front entry, like so. We'll just add another switch here. So it's a single throw switch. The other option is we literally draw another switch next to it and we do this. Okay, and then 2 exterior recessed downlight soffit are mounted above garage door. Okay. Two exterior recessed downlight soffit mounted above garage door, switch from front door and PIR sensor. Cool. So we're gonna assume it means the garage roller door. Stick one here, link them together, and then we're going to, just for ease of doing it, we're just going to put a box and then we're just going to write PIR. There probably is a symbol, but if we can't figure out the symbol, we can just draw a box and then we bring that back to here and add another switch leg. Okay. Is this making sense to everyone so far? Has anyone got any questions before I move on to the kitchen? So I will say that this is just the way I do it. There will be other guys out in the industry who do it differently. This is just what makes sense to me. There are some kind of normal conventions. So if we look at the PowerPoints, they're normally always drawn like this, but sometimes you will find them in other plans drawn. So I'll draw one next to the garage one like this. So that is sometimes how they're also drawn. So they're drawn the other way up. The reason I draw them this way is because I like to think of it as you're plugging something into this socket like that. Okay, so we'll move on to the kitchen. Cool. So obviously in the kitchen, we're going to have a lot more to deal with just because it is the kitchen and we have a lot of electrical appliances and we have a lot of dedicated electrical appliances for things. Cool. So one single outlet behind the fridge, 1800. So we can stick a PowerPoint back here. I think what I might do is might zoom in a little. Like so. So, and yeah, I'm going to use a pencil. Oh, and then we're going to note 1800. Pretty bad writing. Sorry, guys. One single outlet in the microwave cavity, 1300. So, what microwave cavity? It's above the oven. Cool. So we'll stick a normal and we'll go there. I'll bring a line out to here. 1300. if that does any better. Okay, 2 double outlets spaced around the room. So it's going to want 2 double outlets, probably, let's see, 3 double outlets for appliance use. So that's around the room. So this is just, no, I'm looking at the wrong one. Cool. One single 15 amp outlet for wall, oven, and cavity. 1 mil above finished floor level. Okay, so we're going to have a, God. So we're going to denote that it's a 15 amp. And then we're going to put an isolator here for it and draw a line. Because we need to be able to isolate the oven, or at least that's what it wants to do. Cool. So a single outlet under gas hob for hob power within cabinetry with an isolator above the bench. So again, we're going to go put a single outlet. We're going to put, as it wants it inside the cabinetry. So it's for the hob, we're going to put it at about 300. And then we're going to put an isolator probably here, not close, because it is a hob. And then we're going to link it there. Cool. One single socket outlet and ceiling space for range hood power. So you're going to have to put a socket in ceiling. Cool. Isolated for above bench isolator. So we can turn this into a double isolator and we can link it into there. Cool. It's double socket outlet under sink and island for dishwasher and waste disposal. It hasn't asked us for an isolator. We can't put it directly behind the dishwasher. We have to put it in the sink. This also means we can turn it off and unplug it. So 3 double outlets spaced around kitchen for the appliance use. So this is your above kitchen appliance. So put one here, one here, and one here. And I want 4 recessed downlights around kitchen area for general lighting, switch from front door and near the hall. And then it wants 3 pendant feature lights above the island. So we'll start with our pendant lights. So I'm going to draw them like so. Kind of looks like pendants on the diagram. And then I will link them up. And then it wants 4 downlights for lighting. So you want to have one probably closest to the oven, pretty massive. One over this side here. We don't need to do lighting in the island because obviously, and it kind of looks like we've spaced them evenly with the ones in the living room. So it looks like we kind of know what we're doing. So we'll link them together. So they want them, these downlights switch from the front door and near hall. So we're going to add another light switch over here with another leg, and then add another leg up here, another leg there. And then we will take line to there and a line to here, and then we'll take a line from here to here. This is getting very busy. Obviously, if we were using a proper drawing software, we could, or a decent drawing software, we could make this look somewhat legible. Well, looks very confusing. But obviously, as we're working through it, it kind of makes sense. So we're going to go to the hallway now. Cool. So the hallway is pretty basic. There's not a lot. So it wants one double outlet spaced appropriately. So one double outlet. Cool. So where do you think we should put the double outlets in the hallway? Where do you guys think would be a good spot for the PowerPoint in the hallway? I'm going to zoom out a bit. New frame of reference. Cool. So general rule of thumb with a PowerPoint in the hallway is we want it to be as close to the middle, and then if the PowerPoint is too long, the hallway is too long, we then add another PowerPoint. So we would take it and put it here. So it wants a double outlet. Cool. The reason for this outlet is generally for cleaning. So it's to plug in a vacuum cleaner. So that's why we stick it there, is because it's nice and close access to the hallway to do the thing. Cool. So we'll leave the bedrooms to last because they're kind of quick, and then 2 recessed downlights switch from both ends of the hall. So again, spaced evenly down the hallway. So we'll have a light switch here that's going to be a 2-way, and then we'll add another leg to our 2-way down here, and then link all of them together. Cool. So we'll do the bathroom now. Cool. So it wants one double outlet near the vanity, spaced accordingly. So we tend to want to stick it away from the toilet because we don't want people to be able to reach across while they're on the toilet, and we don't want it too close to the sink. So we kind of stick it at the edge of the vanity over this way. Why do we want to stick it further away from the actual basin? Yeah, the taps, and what else? Yep, water hazard. So if we remember back to when we were talking last year about our wiring rules, we know that there is a whole section about damp situations. And generally, a water container under a certain volume, you want to keep the power outlet at least 300 away from the water container. Now, usually the vanity sink is usually quite small, but we still need to try and keep it away. And there are distances in the 3000 as to how far away. But general rule, I want to keep it at least 300 to 500 away if I can. Better yet, not even have one, or keep it inside of a medicine cabinet on the wall or behind a mirror. Cool. So now we move on to the lighting. So it wants 2 recessed downlights switch from near the door. So we will take a switch here, and we will put our recessed downlights 1 and 2. Connect those. And then it wants an extractor fan placed appropriately. So we're going to stick it here. I'm going to call this fan. And the reason we're sticking it there is because it's in between the downlights, and we just make sure that it is going to extract appropriately from the shower and the bath. So the main reason for the extractor fan is to make sure that we can extract the air out of the bathroom. So when on rental properties or healthy homes, what is the requirement for a bathroom fan? So what are the rules around the bathroom as far as extraction for healthy homes? Not suck it. Yep. Auto run. So there's no requirements about auto run, but basically, if there is no open window above a certain size in a bathroom, you must install an extractor fan in a rental property. This is all to do with keeping moisture at a minimum and keeping our homes dry. And obviously, all the modern homes, they're built to be airtight. So if we have any moisture in, we really need to extract it. So obviously in the bathroom and in the laundry. So ideally you'd have a fan in the laundry as well. I think there was one. Let me check the thing. No, there's no fan in the laundry. But that would be my preference, to put a fan in the laundry. And I'd also have it, you can buy relays and clamp. Yep, kitchen range hoods. You need to have extraction for cooking facilities. It can't just be open the window. It has to be some form of forced extraction. So yeah, I like to install fans in laundries. And if you are doing new builds, you can hook them up in a way that as soon as you turn the washer or dryer on, because that's where they're going to go in the laundry, it automatically clicks on the fan. So that's what I did in a lot of my commercial units. Cool. So do the ensuite. This house is fancy enough to have an ensuite. So in the ensuite, they want a double outlet near the vanity again. So we will try and stick it. We'll try and keep it away from the shower. So we're going to stick it over here. At least where it's as far away as we can get it. We may move it into the corner over here. But we want to keep it away from the from the shower. And then it wants 2 recessed downlights and an extraction fan switch from near the door again. So again, we'll do we probably want a light back here near the shower, and then a light over here near the vanity, and then we'll stick our fan in the middle. And we're going to put our switch over here because we don't want it to be behind the door. And obviously, if it's a rental property or the owner wants it, we can then also make it so that as soon as you turn the lights on, the fan comes on automatically, or you can have it switched separately. The way it's written, I'm going to interpret it as being switched separately. So then in all the bedrooms, we need 3 double outlets spaced appropriately around the room and 2 recessed downlights switched from near the door, from entry point. So I'm going to start with the lights. So in the bedroom, there's 2 ways of doing it. You can go this way, or you can go this way. For this bedroom, I'm probably going to stick it this way. Obviously, if it's the master bedroom, my preference would be to install, and this is kind of awkward, but we'll have to stick a light switch here. It's going to be really awkward to run the wiring for it, but we're just going to have to do it. My preference would be in a master bedroom to put more lights in, as well as wall lights, probably because the bed's going to go, use this as an indicator, the bed's probably going to go here. So I'd probably put a wall light here, and probably the plugs as well. So power points spaced appropriately. So again, I'm going to assume the bed's going to go there. So I'm going to stick my 2 power points here and here. And then probably the only other space for another one is over on this wall here, just because there's no other real available wall space that's not taken up by a door. You could stick one over here next to the wardrobe, but it's going to possibly be behind the wardrobe door, and it's in a bit of a awkward spot. So then we move on to this other bedroom, and it's pretty much the same. Stick power points next to where we think the bed is going to go. And then probably the best location for the other one is here. And then our lights, same layout. Best place for the light switch is probably going to be here. And then we draw our connecting lines. The bedrooms are the easy part. Once you kind of know where a bedroom is going to be laid out, actually, yeah, you can kind of already start to connect everything. Again, best spot for the light switch is going to be there. It'll be awkward, but we'll make it work. This time, this is probably going to be a single bed, because as you notice, this bedroom's quite short. So I'm thinking, I'm just going to grab an orange marker and use it. They're probably going to put a bed here. That's really the only space for it. So that's atrocious. I'll stick my PowerPoints around the room. Like that. So we zoom out, and I imagine this is not going to look very pretty. So yeah, looks like something that should have been on if anyone watches 7 Sharp, Mike could draw that. But typically I would not draw the lighting and power on one plan. I would do a power plan, and then I would do a lighting plan separately. I'm sure the other night class tutor who can see through my glass walls is laughing at me right now, but cool. So if any of you guys have finished your drawing, actually, when you guys do, I want you to carry on with the drawing if you can. Someone suggested the best thing to do is take a screenshot or use the snippet tool. If you're on a Windows computer, that's Windows Shift S. Take a snippet and then open it up in Microsoft Paint. And you can take your time, make it look good. You can make the borders bigger. Okay. Now that I'm looking at it, almost just going to use green. Looks like the driveway should be here. But again, they haven't given us enough information. Generally, you would get a bit more information than this. So yeah, that is, I think, what we have. Hold on, I want you to email it to me. So you guys all have my email address, because I've emailed all of you. I pretty much just emailed the guys from last year. I did notice our class is a little bit smaller this year. There's only 16. I think there was like 30 last time. I'm just pulling up the list of things they want me to teach you guys tonight, or basically what we were supposed to go over, to make sure there's nothing else I need to do before we open it up to just what do you guys want to talk about. Okay, so gear list. So the other thing it wants us to do is write a gear list. Yes, in-person classes. So obviously in the regions, there may have been more year 2 starting. So some people have moved to in-person classes. But yeah, so if we were to write a gear list for this. So I'll leave it all as self-directed learning for the rest of it. So what I want you guys to do is to take the diagram, do your best you can, and then write a gear list. So write up a gear list for this job. So if I look through the equipment schedule, I mean, just to start off with, I've got, so basically what you would do is, let's see. Let's make this a little bit bigger. So yeah, we'd start over here. Cool. So first thing, so we're gonna need that's not good. Go back to the brushes. So we're gonna need double outlets. We're going to need single outlets. We're going to need a 15 amp outlet. According to the gear list. So I would normally use Excalidraw, which is a online website where you can download the program Oracle and then install Excalidraw. But that's me. Some people use Publisher. Some people use AutoCAD. It all depends on what level you're doing. And then, cool, so carry on with our list. We've got our exterior downlights. I'm going to call them DLs. And then we have our downlights. So our exterior downlights. So just looking at the exterior of our building, we have at least 1, 2, 3, 5 of those. So go back over to our list. We're going to need 5 exterior downlights. And then counting the internal ones, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, 20, 22. So we're going to need at least 22 downlights. Then we're going to need some pendants. I need 3 of those. We're going to need extractor fans. We're going to need 2 of those for the bathrooms. So you go through the list and tally it up. You can do tally marks. So see, we've got 2 double outlets in the garage. We've got 1 in the laundry. We've got 2, 4 in the living room. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just work through the list. So I want you guys to send me a plan drawn as best you can. If you want to separate out the lighting and the power, both, feel free to separate them out. If you want to do them in one, like my messy masterpiece here, feel free to do that. And also a gear list. So what are you going to need? I don't want you to do cable. Don't worry about cable, just the switchboard, the lights, power points, light switches. How many, like, is it going to be a single gang, 2 gang, 3? Are you going to do multiple light switches at the front entrance? And then obviously you've got your PIR sensor, your LED battens in your garage. Yeah. I will leave you guys to do that as what we call self-directed learning. So you'll do it on your own after this. So basically, I'm trusting you guys to do this as part of your learning, and then you should still also be going through the resources on the Learning Hive at the same time. So if you don't already have access, you guys should be working your way through this. July 25. So your first unit is demonstrate knowledge of electrical plans, switching circuits, and lighting systems. So you're going to look at electrical diagram, low voltage switching, which we'll cover next week. Programmable controllers, we'll talk about that. And then lighting and planning basic lighting layouts. So you go through all of those. And then there'll be the assessment, which is due by the 17th of August. Cool. So one thing I'll give you guys a heads up about is we will not. So if I pull up the calendar, the course calendar for you guys. So here we're talking about week 6 and 7. So week 6 and 7, we will be moving the term break to here. I have 2 weeks of annual leave booked in for something that I can't move. So we will do basically have a 2-week break there and then come back on the 6 and 7. So we'll come back on the 2nd of September, and then we will just keep going through the term break all the way through till end of year on the 2nd of December. Oh, you're away then too, Sasha? That's hopefully not for the same reason, but don't worry about that. Yeah, so we will not be having class. I will send you guys out email reminders when it comes to it. But the week of the 19th of August, so the 19th of August and the 26th of August, we will not have night class. And instead, we will keep working through the holidays on the 23rd and 30th of September. Unfortunately, it's something I can't move. Okay, you guys have all met me. So basically the 23rd, getting married. So taking the week before and the week after off. So yeah, sorry, I'm not moving my wedding for you guys. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I will be doing then. Yeah, so cool. So unless anyone has anything they want to ask me about. Yeah, photos, if you draw them out by hand, that's fine. Just send them through as photos. But yeah, unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about, anything at all, we'll